I'm sure most of us have seen or heard somebody talk about trying to get in on the next big stock in order to make a profit. Sometimes plays like these work, and other times people end up losing their whole accounts on a bad play. It can be hard trying to make money like this in the stock market, which is why most people end up going down the buy and hold route. One of these buy and hold routes that is very appealing is stocks that have dividends, because it's a way for you to make some more passive income on top of any appreciation from the stock itself. So I thought it would be fun to see how many shares you need of a specific stock to live off of solely on its dividends. I'll also show you how much shares you need for your dividend income to reach the median US income salary, which is around 30,000, and how much shares you need for the dividends to reach the big six-figure number of 100,000. Just a quick disclaimer, don't ever put all your money into one stock. It's best to diversify so you can reduce some risk. With that being said, let's look at the stocks. The first stock is Apple, with a yearly dividend of 96 cents and a share price of $175.43. Now, all the numbers you're about to see will probably have changed a little bit since the making of this video, but you will still get a rough estimate of how much money you need for the dividends. So, for the big $100,000 number, you're going to need 104,000 shares, which is about $18 million. And for the more reasonable estimate of 31,000, you're going to need 32,000 shares and about 5.5 million to invest in Apple. So it's a big amount, but as we go farther into the slides, the numbers will get lower. The next stock is Costco, which has their great inflation-proof hot dogs. It's an okay stock if you wanted a somewhat growth stock with dividends. Their yearly dividends is $4.04 with a share price of $507.26. For $100,000, that's going to be about 25,000 shares and $12.5 million invested. And for the more reasonable 31,000, that's going to be 7,700 shares and about $4 million. The next stock is Home Depot. It's also a very popular stock choice for people. Its dividends per share price is a lot better than Costco's with a yearly dividend of $8.36 and a share price of $292.83. As a result, there was a big decrease in the amount of money you need to live off of dividends with the stock. For $100,000, that's 12,000 shares with 3.5 million invested, and 31,000, that's going to be 3,700 shares with just around $1.1 billion invested. The next stock is Coke. When you were talking about or researching dividend stocks, Coke is one that almost always comes up, and for good reason too, because Coke has continuously paid a dividend for over 60 years. So Coke has a yearly dividend of $1.84 and a pretty low share price of $60.26, making the $100,000 range 54,000 shares with $3.2 million invested. And for 31,000, it's going to be around 17,000 shares with right around $1 million. Another well talked about stock in the dividend world is Johnson & Johnson. It's a medical pharmaceutical company that has been a choice for a lot of dividend investors. Their yearly dividend is $4.76 and their share price is $154.35. For 100,000, that equates to 21,000 shares and $3.2 million invested. And for 31,000, about 6,500 shares and now right at $1 million with $1,009,533. Another pharmaceutical company that has good dividends is AbbVie, and their dividend price is $5.92, and their share price is $137.56, putting the $100,000 income to about 17,000 shares and $2.3 million, and $31,000 at 5,200 shares and around $750,000. Next up, we have O Realty Income. Now, O Realty Income is a highly talked about stock in the dividend world, and that is primarily to do with the fact that it is a REIT or real estate investment trust. So, REITs get benefits from distributing some of their rental income as dividends to their shareholders, which basically means that they have the ability to pay a lot more dividends than other companies. And for instance, O Realty Income pays dividends every single month to their shareholders. So, O Realty Income's yearly dividend is $3.08, and their share price is $58.66. For $100,000, that equates to 32,000 shares roughly and 1.9 million invested. $31,000 is around 10,000 shares and about $600,000 invested. Next up is AT&T. It was a good dividend stock, but people are starting to not recommend it anymore as the dividend rate and stock price have been gradually decreasing over the years. But nevertheless, it is still a high dividend rate with a yearly dividend of $1.12 and a share price of $15.50, $100,000. That is 89,000 shares of AT&T and about $1.3 million invested. For 31,000, that's about 28,000 shares and $430,000 invested. So now after this, we are getting into the pretty crazy territory of dividend stocks, which is almost the too good to be true stocks. So the first one is Icon Enterprises. Now, Icon Enterprises is a diversified business holding company which has a crazy high dividend yield. It's not doing too hot recently. There's been a lot of negative attention that has come out on the stock, but that does not stop people from chasing the high yield dividends that they do have. So their yearly dividend is $8 and their share price is only $20.65. So if you want to get to $100,000 with just Icon stock, you need 12,500 shares and about $250,000 invested. For $31,000, you're going to need 4,000 shares and only $80,000 of investment. Well, the last crazy stock on this list is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the largest producer of wood pellets. Obviously, that means that NVIDIA needs to pay its investors a crazy high dividend. So that means their yearly dividend is $3.64 on a stock that is only $8.54. This means that $100,000, you're going to need 27,000 shares and 230,000 invested. And for 31,000, you're going to need 8,500 shares and only $73,000 invested. And that's the list of stocks. A couple things to point out, these numbers for some of the safer dividend stocks like Coke seem pretty unattainable to the average person, but a key factor that was left out was the two factors of time and compound interest. Some of these stocks pay dividends every quarter or every single month, like I talked about, Realty Income pays dividends every single month. So the sum of those is a rough estimate of what the yearly dividend I showed you was. This means that once you get a dividend, let's say every month, you can reinvest that right back into the stock. So for the next month, your dividend payout will just be a little bit higher. Keep doing this and investing more money of your own back into these stocks over a couple decades, and making six figures in dividends will be a lot closer than you think. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.